prophetic will come from the book of Ruth. You can study Ruth verse 1 through 8. These are days of transition. They are transitional days. Transition means to leave one place and to enter into another. The transition has already taken place. The old system, although it has an image of operation in the earth, is no longer even in existence. It does not even exist spiritually. God says those things that were created not of my spirit have already fallen, and you will see the things of God that shine with a permanence in the earth. For transition has already taken place. You are not just leaving one place and embracing another. You have already left. Now, whether you will go with what God is doing or whether you rebel and provoke God in the days that God, do not let this be a repeat. Come on, don't let it be a repeat where you make God mad in the time that you have left one place and entered into another place. Look at somebody and say, no repeat performance. Say, I'm not going to miss another divine moment. And so transition, the Greek word is metathesis, and it means removing. Meta is change, and thesis is a statement laid down to be argued about. Metathesis implies a translating or a picking up of the thing that is laid down and setting it all together in a different context. So in other words, it is removing those things which can be shaken and putting those things down which cannot be shaken. Let me bring it. It is removing those things that have been made with the hands of man and putting down those things that have been made with the hands of God. If it's part of your destiny, you can't lose it. If it's not, you can't keep it, because you're in a day of transition. And there's a metathesis, which means everything that can be shaken has been shaken. So that which is out of eternity shall raise up. It's like when God rent the kingdom from Saul and gave it to David. There is a new priesthood that has been raised up, that is eternal, that will come forth as kings, priests, and prophet in the earth. They will walk in the fullness and the expression of God, that will be an image bearer of God in the earth. They've been placed in markets. They've been placed in business. They've been placed in entertainment. They've been placed in political science. They've been placed on the streets. They've been placed in the penthouse. They're in the utmost place. They're in every corner, every crevice of the earth. God is strategically positioned that His glory will go from the north, the east, to the west. And God has raised a remnant up out of the crevices of darkness. Destiny has already risen. They are a people of Zion, which is a place in Christ and a people in Christ. They are mantled, and they understand that there is a metathesis, that church and the old ways, ritual and religion, as you have known before, is not what is going to be today. That we are not going to play church, but we are going to be the church. And the church of Jesus Christ has risen. They are in position, and they are raising to the place that God has called and destined. I've got words from God. And so you must realize that there are two kinds of people that God reveals to us that are relevant for where we are living in days of transition. They're found in the book of Hebrews. Hebrews, the word means abar, and it means to cross over. It means to transition. It is rendered passed over, come over, overcome, or the other side. Hebrews is a picture of people who know how to pass over. You are moving from one level of glory to a higher level of glory. You are moving from one place to another place. You are no longer going to live at a level of struggle. Those days are over. You're going to live at a level of ascension. You have endured. The hardest part is behind you. You fought a good fight. Hear the word of the Lord. You fought a good fight. I know there's some naysayers who are going to say it could not be. But even as the prophet said of days old, you will stand back and see it, but you will not partake of it. And God says, I don't want a spectator in this hour. I'm calling for participators, because those that say it's not possible will not taste and see the goodness of the Lord, because God said just last night, one day you will be in famine this day, but God declares feast tomorrow, because there is death, the spirit of death, and everything that suffocated you and strangled you, God has removed its handcuff. God has removed its power and its ability, and it is dead. Stop acting like it has life. Stop talking about it. Suffocate it. Stop giving it oxygen. Stop keeping it alive, because it no longer exists in the realm that God has called you. He's called you to a higher word to preach tonight. It carries the main idea of movement. Hebrew does. I just called to help you get a groove on tonight. Come on, church. That's all prophecy is, isn't it? Rhythm. Let me teach you some right there. I watched them do Michael Jackson, and then when they were interviewing him, and they said, nobody can dance like you, Michael, and nobody could dance like Michael. And they said, what do you think about it? I said, that's the problem. He said, you don't think when you start to. He said, you just become one with it. You just, and that's the problem. You're thinking too much. And God says, why do you think it? When you're supposed to be feeling my move of the Spirit, feeling my rhythm, feeling my flow, feeling my breath, feeling the wind of God. Come on, you better learn how to get your groove back on. I'm prophesying right now. I can't even dance unless I'm in the Spirit. I'm prophesying right now. Prophesy, come on. Prophesy to yourself right now. You're prophesying. All you're doing is flow. Stop trying to figure it all out. Flow. Stop trying to reason it and flow. Stop trying to logic it and flow. Stop trying to add it up and flow. Stop trying to make it make sense. Just flow. Days of transition or you learn to flow. Come on. Stop trying to put it all together. Stop trying to make it an equation. God is not like your geometry teacher. He's God. He says you're not going to take me down to a ritual, a routine, a formula, something that can be deduced or logic or God. And I'm going to do what I want to do. And you say it doesn't make sense. The debt can be canceled in a day. But I'm still God. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm still God. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm still God. Watch what I'm going to do. Woo! Come on and celebrate. Come on. Prophesy. Prophesy. Let me show you what's happening right now. Some of you, it's been so long because your flesh says, but I'm awkward. It's embarrassing. Shut your flesh up. Your flesh says, I'm afraid. Shut your flesh up. You were created to dance. You were created to move with life. You were created to groove. Come on, you were created for flow. Flow. Come on, flow. You were created. Prophesy. All you're learning to do is move, move, move. You got to start moving with God. 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 Come on, lean into it. Move. There's a movement here. You start getting movement, you start getting momentum in your life. When you start getting a momentum, there's a velocity happening spontaneous. Because this move is not going to be systematic, it's going to be spontaneous. It's going to bring a new expression of order in your life and in the earth. You better get ready. Look at somebody, say, I'm getting my groove back on. Come on, put your hands together and give God a praise. Give God a praise. Give God a praise. Hey! Be seated. So Hebrews carry